Carl Frampton in what's basically your, suppose your spiritual home, isn't it? The Midland Boxing Club. It's in your local area, Tiger
Yeah.
Bay. Did you spend most of your as a young fella growing up here as well, or
All
was
of it.
it just?
This was my gym. I boxed here. I had my first fight when I was 7. I was in here since I was 7 basically until I turned pro.
Yeah.
Um, 22 when I turned pro a couple of years ago, so a long time, and it's a place special to me. This little gym, so it's some good memories here.
Yeah. And is your house far from here,
No,
or?
2 minute walk.
Yeah.
This is the Tigers Bay area, so it's only a 2 minute walk up the street, and
Yeah.
that's it.
And
The noise there in the background.
don't worry about it. So listen, you got take another step towards solidifying yourself as one of the main prospects in Britain and Ireland. On the 28th of January in the York Hall, Bethnal Green, London, against Kris Hughes.
Yeah.
What do you know about Kris Hughes? Because
I remember him. I remember him as an amateur. I never boxed him, but I was in a couple of tournaments that he was in. Good friend Paddy Barnes boxed him, beat him. Jimmy Conlon boxed him and beat him. So I have to beat him. I'll never hear the end of it, really.
no, you definitely never heard off Barnes anyway. Yeah, yeah. What you expected?
A little bit of him. He's a tall, awkward southpaw. He may be awkward, hard to get to for a while, but he was saying a few things there online and a few different reporters that he's going to prove that I'm not worth a hype, and that's the sort of thing that motivates me. So he probably made his worst mistake there by saying that, because that just gives me that extra bit of drive.
Because he said that you fight bums and journeymen. What were you thinking when you read that?
Well, I just then had a look at his record on BoxRec, and Delroy Spencer twice, Anwar Al Fadi. He only
Basically blown up flyweights as well, aren't they?
Flyweights and stuff. So he's a big lad, and he's boxed at featherweight and super featherweight and above that as well. So
Yeah.
I don't know where that comment came from. It's just out of the blue. He pulled that out of the air from somewhere, but oh well.
Fighting in London now as well. Does that feel a little bit strange for you now? You're topping that bill, is it? Or?
I'm topping the bill, it is. I'd like to get back home, and I've been in York Hall before, and it's a great venue, and there's a lot of boxing fans live around that area, so we'll always get a good crowd. I know John Ryder, who's a big ticket seller, on the undercard. Eamon O'Kane, he'll bring a few fans from Dungiven. A few of my supporters will come over, so hopefully it'll be a sellout. It'll be a good night. It's a venue that can create a lot of atmosphere, and hopefully we can put on a good show for the fans.
Because you have been kind of spoilt for quite a while when you were fighting on those Satanta cards, back in Belfast, lots of bills there. Which do you prefer? Do you prefer to have all your support behind you at home, or almost on the road proving yourself?
I prefer to be on. Well, I suppose it's hard to say. I love to box at home, and it's easier for people to get to the fights, and it doesn't cost them as much money and stuff. And I do prefer boxing at home, to be honest. But
you had a big crowd at the Odyssey for the last fight. There was a large section.
There was a big support. I sold. I can't remember how many tickets altogether, but it was a lot of tickets were sold, and that's good to be boxing at home. But it's also important, and you can gain experience from boxing away from home all the time. And one day, hopefully, when I'm boxing for a world title, fingers crossed, it could be on the road, and all these little trips away are going to help me with experience, hostile atmosphere.
So Christmas has been cancelled, and it seems like you've been doing a lot of sparring in here. You've done over 50 rounds of sparring so far.
So far, 50 or 60 at least anyway. We've still 3 weeks sparring to go, so I'm well on track. I'm super fit. I haven't sparred anyone apart from done a few rounds there with Paddy at the end of the
Yeah.
spar. It's been later on me.
Yeah.
Everyone, I've been sparring. I went up to light middleweight in this time, so
Yeah.
all southpaws, all tall, all suited for Kris Hughes' style. So I'll be more than ready for his style come
Yeah.
28th.
So you had a couple of rounds in there with your old mate Paddy Barnes, and there was no holding back there for
No,
those
no.
couple of rounds.
Well, he's spiteful, isn't he? I do 6 rounds and he jumps all over me. It's coming in fresh. That's the way he is. But I'm well used to that by now. But no, Paddy's a good lad, and
Yeah.
you spar a big man, but Paddy comes in for speed, and if I try and match him for speed, he's one of the fastest fighters out there. So
Yeah.
it's just
So you had a tall southpaw in there as well,
Yeah.
which is obviously to mimic the
Yeah.
the Hughes style as well.
Yeah.
How are you finding it? How are you finding
It's
the?
okay. We were trying there. We were sparring a guy there, and Jerry was sort of basically telling me that spar was about blocking and slipping shots.
Yeah.
Not too much aggression going on my behalf, but we were just trying to get out of the road and slip the blind side all the time and slip outside the southpaw's lead jab, and that's what we were doing. But I'm finding I'm sparring well. Everyone, as I said, nearly everyone has been a southpaw, so
Yeah.
everything's going perfect. And I boxed and sparred a lot as well.
Yeah. Will you stay in Belfast up until the fight, or will your usual regime's been to go over to Barry for the last couple of weeks?
On Monday coming, which is the 2nd, I'll be going back to Kent, and I'll probably get a weekend at home in the middle. But it's just about quality sparring and
Yeah.
stuff, and getting away from everything.
Yeah.
You're over
Get
there.
your
you
game
can
face
focus,
on.
You can focus on the fight and nothing else. I live in Kent with Barry, and he's out in the sticks nearly.
Yeah, no
it's a secluded
distractions.
area, and you just do you box, you eat, you go to bed, and that's it.
Yeah, so Barry's on top of you with your training, and Shane's on top of your
Barry and
diet,
Shane, yeah.
and you get chauffeured around to go to a couple of gyms for a bit of sparring. Is that?
That's it.
Couldn't be better, really, could it?
Well, it could be better if I was allowed to eat sweets and stuff, but I'm not. So,
Yeah.
but no, it's great. They look after me, and Jerry over here as well, doing a great job with me, and things are really coming on. I think all the time.
Yeah, and I met up with Scott Quigg's manager the other week, and we had a little bit of discussion about yourself as well. He reckons that Scott Quigg's a little bit too far ahead of you at the moment for an immediate shot. What's your take on it?
Well, he says, I don't know. I would love to fight Scott Quigg in my next fight. I suppose if he beats Arthur, I beat Hughes. I'm the only one really who would be a credible opponent for him in Britain. So
Yeah,
if he thinks that I'm too far, he's too far away from me. But then again, he's boxing Jamie Arthur. Arthur, who's just come out of retirement. It doesn't really make sense. But I would love to fight him. I think he may be up for the fight. I met him there at the sports personalities with shook hands.
All right,
got
okay.
a photograph took and everything else.
Yeah.
And he's a nice lad. But I'm 100% confident when we fight that there'll only be one winner.
great. All right. Well, listen, we'll catch up with you on fight night, and good luck for your fight.
Cheers, Leonard.
Cheers. Thanks very much.